Well, hello, everybody. And first, I want to start by saying that this is probably something that lots of you have already made yourself. Now, I've never made this way, okay? I have made banana bread lots of times with leftover bananas that begin to turn brown, but I have never made them for bananas that I have frozen. Now, I freeze my bananas with the skin on, and I have these bananas, I took them out, and I have let them defrost a little bit. I wanted to try this way so that I can figure out whether it's a good idea to save more bananas in this form, freezing them like this. A lot of people take the skin off the bananas. I don't like taking the skin off of things that I put into the freezer because the skin is a protective coating to that whatever food you put in there. And so I like to leave it on. But I am concerned that when you begin to let them thaw out a little bit, that maybe they might end up being too watery and too mushy. So that's what we're going to find out. And stay tuned to the end to see what happens. Now, some people will take the banana and peel the peel off of it. I'm adding a half a stick of butter to this. And they will put the bananas in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. But I'm not going to waste money on a Ziploc bag. I'm kind of too cheap to do that. This butter is starting to firm up again because the bananas are kind of cold. I just put the bananas in the freezer. Now, when somebody wants to make a milkshake, they just slice down the skin and they pull it off. It's still really frozen. I let them defrost a lot more to make this banana bread, and they were pretty soft, but they were still cold, but they were much softer. Now, I'm going to add a couple of eggs. You want to put 2 large eggs into this mixture. And so I'm taking 2 of my large chicken eggs, and we're going to put them in here. And then we're going to stir these eggs together. I'm going to try not to shake you to death here, okay? This is kind of hard for me to do because I got 1,000 things sitting on this table. And I hope I'm not making you seasick here going back and forth because I'm trying to, position the camera, break the eggs, put them into the bowl. And so it's not super easy for me. And I'm trying not to knock over the camera at the same time, which can be a task of itself. So we're going to put 2 eggs in here. And we're going to mix it up right here, okay, with these 2 eggs. And we're just going to stir it until it's mixed up. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the dry ingredients to these wet ingredients. I'm going to start by adding half of it. And the dry ingredients are 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, it also has a half a cup of walnuts. You don't have to put that. I'm going to add the other half of this. You don't have to, but someone gave me a couple of bags of walnuts. They got them from some, I guess, food, those places where they give away food. I forget what they call them. It escapes my brain, but food store, no. It'll come to me later. But they didn't want them, and so they gave them to me. So I put them in the freezer because nuts don't go bad. They just don't. And so I am going to use it in this bread here. Now I'm just going to keep stirring this. It feels a little dry. Food banks. There you go. Food banks. It looks a little bit dry to me. Now, the recipe calls for 3 large bananas, and these are small. I would call them small. I would not call them large at all. And so I have 4 of them, and I already know that I'm going to have to end up adding the other banana to this. So we'll see. It just seems too dry to me. I am going to squeeze this other banana over the top of this and mix it in. Now you bake this at 350 degrees for about 50 minutes. Now I have some clay bread pans I bought 20 years ago at Target. And I have held on to them and fortunately never broken them. But bake it, there they are. Bake it in whatever you want. You do not have to grease a pan unless you use a glass pan. Then you'd grease it. But if you want to grease it, I don't think it would hurt anything. And here it is. Ta-da! The star of the show. And it is absolutely delicious. I definitely will be storing more bananas in my freezer because I have all the other ingredients. I always have cinnamon, and I have eggs, and I have flour, and I have butter. So the only thing I don't usually have a lot of is bananas. But since I know that freezing them like this can work, I definitely will be storing a few extra bananas in my freezer. Well, God bless and hope you enjoyed this.